can even get to God.
Hey, what's up everyone? This is Eli from checkit.com here with an After Effects Cinema 4D template tutorial thingy. It's gonna be pretty awesome. You guys are gonna like this intro because you guys have been asking me to do this for the past 3 tutorials. Cause yeah, it's pretty epic. I'll be including these project files at checkit.com/download, so check the description if you want a quick link there. But anyway, if you double click this, you guys will see that it's a pretty epic template. I'll be explaining how to use this template in the first part of this tutorial, and then I'll be teaching you guys how to do it all yourself, or at least the parts that I haven't already made a tutorial about. If you guys could, please give the video a like, because it helps out so much, and I'm giving away all this stuff for free, and it's pretty epic, as you saw in the intro. And also, don't forget to leave a comment, because I leave all my favorite comments at the end of the video. And also, you know, you guys should definitely stick around because maybe you guys made it to my favorite comment. So anyway, if you guys want to skip ahead, I'll put up a link right now. Basically, you can either skip all the way to the favorite comments if that's all you wanted to do, is just download the freaking template, just skip it. It's the bottom one. Or if you guys want to just skip how to use the template and you just want to see how I made all this stuff, then you can click that link. But if you're sticking around, then you're awesome. So yeah, let's get started. Alright, so how to use this template. Go download it. Obviously extract it, and you'll see that it's this group of files right here. Just double click it and it'll open it. And I have instructions here, but I mean, we don't need to use that. That's so old-fashioned. The first thing you're going to want to do is grab one of these two. It doesn't matter which one. They're both templates. I've already made a tutorial on how I did this, so go check it out. I'll put a link in the description, and I'll probably put a little annotation here. But anyway, I've already taught you guys how to do all this stuff, so just replace your with whatever, and replace this text with whatever, and then render it like I did in the tutorial, and then you're good. So once you render it, you should render it into this Cinema 4D file right here, and here's the file we made in that tutorial right here. Boom, and then it shakes. Pretty awesome. So if you did all that right, then you can move on to step 2, which is right here, After Effects. Now, if you guys don't have Magic Bullet looks, because that's the only thing in this entire template that you'll need to pay money for, if you don't have that, I've also included a pretty epic looking one that doesn't use Magic Bullet looks. So technically this is a free tutorial, but if you can, definitely use the Magic Bullet looks file right here. But let me go into these files quick. So I've made a tutorial on how I did these shockwaves, so you guys can obviously go there and check that out. Put a link right here. I'm including all these shockwaves that you can use in this template. Plus, I'm including the song that you guys have been asking about this whole time. I should just make a tutorial on how to find good music. But anyway, I'm including it. And also, this glass smash was something I downloaded off YouTube. But it's actually from Video Copilot. This is just a crappier version that obviously people aren't getting copyrighted for, so I'm including it right here. But there's also all this copyright info where I downloaded everything, so people can't get mad at me. Go download the original files, obviously. This is something just for this tutorial. It's a nice optical flare that you don't have to pay for. If you don't have optical flares, well, you could use this. So anyway, these last files right here, these particles, are free from Video Copilot. So if you want them, you guys can always go follow this link right here. I highly recommend that you go download them because they are all 720p, amazing particles. And there's like 15 different stock footages right there. So definitely go get those. But I'm including these two because these are what I used in the intro. So anyway, once you download all those files, let's just open one of these. Let's open the Magic Bullet Looks version. So boom, it's opening. If it's missing a bunch of files, it'll be all weird looking. You can right click and go down to replace footage with a file. Now go find whatever file you're looking for. So let's just say that we're looking for the purple explosion here. Go into the After Effects thing right there. Double click the project files, go into the shockwaves. And once you click import, it will find all the files within that folder, but you might need to do that for all of them. You'll also need to replace your shake footage here. So if you right click on the shake footage and go to replace file, go into the Dubstep intro projects, find your Cinema 4D render, and your version of your little intro that we made right here should be in this rendered folder right here. So click that, import it, and it'll replace it with that, and it'll already be done. So then right from there, you can go up to composition, add to render queue, go into lossless here, change it to QuickTime, click on the format options, and we're going to want H.264, which is right there. Make sure the quality is at 100%, hit OK again. And output to, this is all up to you. You can put it wherever you want. I mean, I'm not actually going to render this, so boom, and then hit save, and then hit render, and you will have an amazing intro that you literally spent like 10 minutes on. And I mean, it is sexy, you guys. You guys saw it on the intro, so obviously you guys know how sexy it is. So yeah, that's the basic template. That's how you use the templates. If we open this here, you'll see it's the same exact process, except you don't need you'll see some of these things are different, like the CC no looks. I did more of a black and white, and then it goes to color type intro. You know, it's free, and you don't have to spend any extra money, so you should be happy. You should be thanking me. So anyway, guys, that's how you do that. But a lot of you guys are probably wondering, you're like, Eli, it's nice that you did that and everything, but I hate it, so I want to do it all myself. So for you people that want to create all this for yourself, make sure you still go download this stuff, because I'm including it all for free, all these project files, and these are what I'm going to use to teach you guys how I made it. So yeah, let's get to that right now. So I'm going to close out of Cinema 4D, because I'm assuming that you followed the tutorial to make this right here. And I'm also assuming that you already downloaded all of these project files. So let's go File, New Project, just so we have a blank slate. Double click in this blank canvas area, and we want to go find our project that we rendered out right here, the Cinema 4D. So we want this one, we'll import it. And now we want to click and drag it down to this Create New Composition layer right here. Boom, it makes it, and we have our file. Very simple. But we want to make this look sexy, so let's double click over here and let's go find all our other files that we downloaded, which would be right here. So let's grab all of these. I'm going to grab the short version here, and I'm just going to import them all. Alright. Oh, we didn't get our shockwaves because I forgot that we have to do that. Okay, so let's just import them all. Let's drag in all of our nice particles right here. Click and drag them in. And you'll notice that you don't see anything. So what we need to do is we need to change the blending modes over here. Let's hit F4. And you'll notice that now we have the blending modes. And let's just set all of these to screen. Alright, so now we can see everything, but we have a problem here. Our project is in 1080p, and these files are in 720p. So what we want to do is we want to hit S for scale on just these two. And by the way, I selected them both by clicking and holding Shift, and that just selects them both. And now we're just going to move the scale up until it's, you know, around the edges there. Perfect. Alright, and next what we want to do is we want to find where our project goes in and stops, which would be right about there. Now we want to add in some adjustment layers. So let's hit Control-Alt-Y. And we want to do this 2 times, so just hit it twice. And now we'll have 2 adjustment layers. Let's click on one, hit Enter, name the first one CC, and name the second one Lens. Alright, pretty easy. Now we want to actually move both of these all the way. We're just clicking and dragging on the file here, and we're just moving it all the way to the point where we want everything to start. And there's a reason for that, but for right now, I'm just going to make it easy and just, you know, call it good there. I hit Control-D while CC is selected, and that will create another adjustment layer. And we're just going to move this over, and then do the same thing, but make it start and end before this one starts and ends. So, I mean, we can rename this too. We can call this CC different or something. It really doesn't matter what you call it, as long as you know that this one is before everything changes, and this one will happen after everything changes. You guys all love that cool looking lens explosion, and all it was if you type in lens, you'll see it's CC lens under distort. We'll click and drag that on the adjustment layer, and you see how cool that is? We want to change the size. Let's hit the stopwatch here and just put the size all the way down. And then we want to move it, I don't know how far. We'll mess with this, but making sure that that stopwatch is still selected, We'll bring it all the way up until we get to where we like it. Maybe right about there. That looks good. So 311. And you'll notice that now we have a nice animation happening. Now I'm actually going to click and drag this composition over here, and this is basically how you see where your project is being rendered. So now that I have this dragged over more towards the animation, I'm going to hit 0, and it will render only where I have it selected. You see how cool that is? That actually looks a little too fast, so let's drop down the options here, go into our effects, drop down the CC lens here, and let's just drag this out a little more, and then hit 0 again. Oh yeah, that's much better. Alright, so that's all done. See how easy that was, how epic it looks? The next thing we want to mess with is getting the look that we like. And the reason why I chose 2 different color corrections is because once this explosion happens, I want it to change colors and make it significant, like something big happened, you know? Like if you start with black and white or a different color and then it gets all colorful, people will notice that it just goes pow and explodes in your face. So let's go over here, and I'm actually going to use looks first. So let's grab Magic Bullet Looks, click and drag it onto the first one. And let's get a nice frame here where we can see most of our picture, yes. And now let's hit Edit. Okay, and let's just grab something real quick. Let's zoom out a bit. Okay, Subtle Film's kind of cool. Mishandled Negative is... I actually really like that. Okay, but then let's add a nice vignette quick. So let's go over to here, click and drag Vignette to the lens area, and let's just, you know, not make it too intense. There we go, hit finished, and now we have a nice look applied there. And now let's copy the Magic Bullet Looks by selecting it and hitting Control or Command C, and then let's hit Control or Command V while the bottom layer is selected. Now let's move over and let's hit Edit on this layer, and let's find a different, more colorful look, which I chose Blockbuster in the first intro, so I'm going to stick with that. But what I did was I selected Vignette, I zoomed out using the scroll wheel, let's move that up right about there. Very cool. Maybe push these in a little bit. Yeah, that's much better. Finish. Okay, and now you'll notice I'm going to actually make sure that our entire work area is selected. I'm going to hit 0 just so you guys can see what we created. If your computer is having a hard time rendering all this, click on full and go down to half or third. And just so it's a lot faster, I'll go down to third and then I'll hit 0 again. The quality is much worse, but you'll get a much faster pre-render. So let's hit 0 and boom. Look how cool that is. That's insane. I love that so much. You'll notice that our file is kind of getting washed out a little bit because of the particles and everything. We want to apply a nice curves adjustment to these. So let's hit Control Alt Y once again, and let's drag this adjustment layer above the shake and the particles, and let's go over to the effects and presets and type in curves. Alright, click and drag that onto the adjustment layer, and we'll just call this curves. Alright, and then let's just drop down the blacks just so it's not so glowy, because it's pretty intense here. Yeah, that is much better. You'll see what I mean right here. Look at boom, boom, and it'll just get even more intense once we add in the other things. So let's do that right now, just so you guys can see. So let's add in our glass smash and our optical flare. Let's click and drag that under the color corrections. All right, and then let's actually click and hold Shift and select both of them, and let's drag them to where our animation happens, which would be right there. Let's select glass smash because it's so small, and let's click and hold Shift and just drag it until it covers the entire picture. Alright, now we're going to set both of these to add. Alright. And look at that. Wow, that looks amazing. So you'll see that the glass animation happens a little bit too slow. So let's drag this back a little bit. And there we go. Now the glass animation is happening, and then let's click and drag a curves adjustment onto the optical flares. Maybe just drag down a bit just so it's not so intense, and then maybe also apply a little bit more curves to our curves layer. Maybe crush the blacks just a wee bit more, just so we can see everything that's going on, and you'll notice how intense everything is. It's pretty crazy. You guys can always move these particles over until you get something that you really like. I'm not the boss of you, of course. I don't like how far down this optical flare is, so let's click the optical flare, hit S, And let's just scale that baby up a lot. There we go. That is much better. Now we don't have that weird looking flare actually in the picture, and it's more of just suggested that it's up top. It's pretty awesome. The last thing we want to do is we want to add in the song, which is the Aero short version. Let's click and drag that to the bottom. And we also want to add in our check it waveforms, but that is going to be very intense on our computer with all of these things up and running. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that our animation is set up quick. So let's go here and let's click down on the audio. And let's just find the waveform, which is right here. And now you'll notice that we have the waveform in view. So let's just make sure it lines up, and it doesn't right now. So let's just click and drag over just a wee bit. There we go. Basically, I know that this big clipping part right here is where the bass happens, and that's where we want the hit to happen and then this huge animation to go on. So if we hit 0, you'll notice that I'm correct. So let's do that quick. We don't need it to render too much. Okay, so maybe push it a little bit more, maybe a little back. Let's hit 0 again. That's better. That's better. So it's actually right at 2 that I have it set to, and it actually matches up really well. So now that we know this is all lined up well, we can turn everything off except for our nice song down there. And now we can drag in these nice check it waveforms that we created. So I've actually done this in a tutorial. I'll put a link to in the description if you guys want to create your own, but I've included the pack within this, so you can use it if you really want to. And now I'm going to turn off those particles as well, just so we're just focusing on these. So I'm going to click and drag this over here, and let's actually set these to screen just so they're all see-through. And now what we want to do is we want to click and drag these out. Let's go down here, and we want to match them up until one is happening on every single big bass drop. So I'm going to drag this one back a little bit. I'm going to drag this one back. I don't know when these drops happen. We're going to match that up right now, but I'm just spacing these out so they're not on top of each other. Okay, so we know that that first drop happens right here, so let's match that up, and you can use the timeline indicator if you want. That's perfect. And now let's find out where our other drops are. So I'm going to hit 0. I'm going to listen for those drops. Oh, sweet. I was almost on right there. So this next one happens right about here, so let's drag this back a little bit and just see if that works now. Yeah, that's good. Alright, so now we can move on. And I'm doing this pretty quick. You guys can always spend more time if you want, but this is a tutorial, so I can't do it perfectly every time. Oh, heck yeah. Oh, that looks amazing. Alright, so now that we have all those set up, let's hit Control-Shift-S real quick, just so we save another version. Let's save this as both. And then let's do 1080. Oh, 1080p. And let's hit save quick. I'll be including this in the download as well, so you're welcome. Let's hit S just in case, because we don't know if our computer might crash when we turn all this stuff back on. I don't know. I'm just preparing you guys for the worst, to be honest. Alright, so, oh heck yeah, man. Oh, that looks so sick. So as you can tell, even my beastly computer isn't handling this as fast as I'd like. So I just switched the quality down to quarter. And now I'm going to hit 0, and I'm just going to watch the entire thing just to see if it's exactly how I want it. Didn't even get to pause. Holy crap. Okay, you can't even tell me that that does not look freaking amazing. Alright, so the last thing I want to do is I want to teach you guys how I did the free version of the color correction and such. So let's actually turn both of these off quick. Then let's select them both, and let's just hit that familiar key, Control or Command D, to duplicate them. And now we'll have both of these. So let's actually move this above, and then let's actually rename these. So let's hit Enter and call this No Magic Bullet, just so you guys know the difference here. Okay, let's go black and white No MB, just so you guys know. Alright, so now we could turn both of these on. Okay, now let's select one of them real quick, go up to here. Let's just delete it. Delete Magic Bullet Looks, because we're doing this for free. And let's also go over here and let's just find curves again. So if you guys, were looking for something else, make sure you type in curves. Let's click and drag it onto both of these. There we go. And then let's find Sat for Hue and Saturation, and let's put that on the black and white version. So what you'll notice is in the original versions that I put this on, I made the first intro all the way black and white, and then I added some nice crushed blacks in to really make it a cool looking black and white image. So there we go. Let's go over. Yeah, that looks good, but you'll notice that we're missing something very big. We're missing that awesome vignette. So let's hit Control Y to create a new blank solid. Let's just call this Viggy. Okay, so you're only going to want to use this if you are using the free version, because if you're using Magic Bullet Looks, then you might as well use the amazing vignettes that they have included with that. But if we're creating our own vignette, what we want to do is have the Viggy free selected. We'll go up to this square marquee tool, and we'll go down to the ellipse tool by clicking and holding and then letting go on the ellipse tool. And now, with the Viggy layer selected, we'll double click on that ellipse. Let's invert it. Then let's zoom out, click off of this, and then actually just click straight up. We're just mimicking what we did on the not free version Magic Bullet thing. Cool. Let's actually drag that up. Alright, now let's bring the mask down. Then let's just increase the feather a lot. Cool. And then let's actually increase the expansion here, so it's not so on top of the image. Alright, and now let's set the blending mode, and remember to bring up the blending modes is F4. So let's set that to overlay. Alright, and you'll notice that we actually have a pretty awesome image here. And now we can close out of that, and let's go down to the CC No Magic Bullet here. And let's just make something we're really proud of. So let's actually crush this a lot and raise that a little bit. Cool. And let's go into the reds. Let's increase the reds in the middle. Let's decrease the greens. And then let's increase the blues a little bit. And now we got that cool looking purple. And I just made this in like 2 minutes. I mean, look how cool that is already. You guys can do whatever you want. But with that, I just wanted to show you guys a quick way of how I did it. So there you go. And actually with this layer, we actually don't need so much curve adjustments on this. So actually bring this back up a little bit. There we go. Maybe brighten it up just a tidbit to bring back the glow on our text there. And some people might like this version better. So if you do, you're welcome. It's free. So with that, you guys, we are done. So I'm going to hit Control or Command S to save this for you guys. And now to render this out, it's the same thing that we did in the intro. Composition, add to render queue. We'll go down to lossless and we'll select QuickTime. Make sure it's on H.264 for the video codec and make sure it's at 100%. Okay. Now let's go into here and just type out whatever you want. I'm going to just save this to my desktop as Sexiest Dubstep intro ever. And hit save, render, and boom, you guys are done. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I hope that you guys learned something, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I only did this because you guys are so awesome for giving us 150,000 subscribers. That's just insane that so many people subscribe to us and believe in us. So thank you so much. Please use this. Seriously, no copyright on this thing. You guys can use it all you want. Don't forget to leave a like because it helps out so much. And if you like the tutorial, leave a comment saying whatever you want. I don't care. It's just It makes me feel good when you guys leave a comment. And why not leave a comment? Because if you do, you might have made it to my favorite comments at the end of the video. So yeah, make sure you look at those too. And with that, I will see you guys on Monday or Tuesday or whatever. I don't know, maybe it'll be a week until I make a tutorial. But either way, I'll see you guys on the next tutorial. Peace.
Didn't even get to bronze.
I said I'm moving too far. Get to glass. Looking at a shooting star. Got more than a couple of people going mad. I swear they're rooting hard. Tell them I'd be big in the game like she went and got them breast implants. I said I'm moving too fast. Didn't even get to glance. I'm ready to eat up track like I'm seated in a restaurant. If you had swag like mine, you know it's best to flaunt. We aren't hating because you aren't shining like it's neon. Rock like kings of Leon. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Yeah, shoot, yeah, shoot, yeah, shooting shots.